Hey everyone, welcome to my channel. If you have not been here before, it's good to see you. Welcome. I hope you enjoy the content. If you have been before, welcome back. It's been a long 3 years since I've been posting regularly, so we're kind of getting back with that now. And we're kind of kicking it off with a bang. I'm going to do some documentation of cooking, my cooking for my dinner. If anybody follows me on Snapchat or Instagram, I post a lot about the meals I eat. You also know that my diet is pretty mundane. For the most part, it's consistently brown rice. 70% of the food I take in is brown rice, and then I'll put some protein with it, either some chicken or some beef or something like that, with veggies, the staple veggies, peas, corn, carrots, broccoli, things like that. So, when you're cooking with the same 5 or 6 ingredients, you have to get pretty creative. So, I thought I'd start documenting the different kinds of items that I prepare for myself. They fill me, they keep me fed well, I get all my nutrition from them, so hopefully somebody can benefit from them, or you just enjoy watching cooking videos. I love watching cooking videos myself. So today it's going to be a chicken stir-fry dish with a side of cilantro lemongrass brown rice, and some scrambled eggs to kick it off. I'm intermittent fasting, of course. I'll do another video on intermittent fasting, but YouTube is awash with videos from actual professionals describing intermittent fasting, how it works, how to do it, and other things like that. So I won't spend too much time on it. What I document will almost always be how it relates to me, how it affects me, and and hopefully I don't really have an agenda. I don't have this is not a business. It's just if I can give anything to you or whomever is watching this, then I am glad to do so. For me, these meals, again, I'm very, very busy. I'm a teacher, and so I'm incredibly busy. I'm not home a tremendous amount. When I am home, I'm usually working as well on grades, especially during this whole COVID-19 closure. It's been a very, very busy time. So I don't have a lot of time to spend on cooking, preparing meals, but I do like to cook. 90% of my meals I cook, because I don't like to eat out. It's just, for a diet, it wreaks havoc on your diet if you're eating out a lot. You don't know fully what the ingredients are, and so I'm a bit of a control freak when it comes to that kind of thing. So for me, cooking for myself, I need 2 things. I need to be able to hit my calorie macros, and I need to be able to do it quickly. So most of the food that I prepare, I can cook in 20 minutes from start to finish. And that can be tweaked based on your own preferences, but just give you some ideas on how to really flavor up food. Again, if you're eating a lot of brown rice, which I do, brown rice is my staple. It's the cornerstone of everything I eat. You're eating a lot of brown rice, it really doesn't taste incredibly good on its own, so you have to get creative with it. I found some really, really great ways to season up and flavor some brown rice. So, and you'll see one of those methods here in this video. So I hope you enjoy it. And any comments, questions, or critiques, please leave them in the comments below. If you have not been to my channel before, as I say, if you please subscribe if you like the content, and definitely a thumbs up or a thumbs down. Either way, feedback is always good, and I really want to know how people feel about my videos. So without further ado, here is my meal. Enjoy. Okay, so when cooking anything, especially when you want to cook something quickly, prep is key. Do all your prep efficiently and in one go, and then you'll notice everything will move incredibly smoothly when you start putting the actual meal together. So I'm starting off here just prepping some of my stir-fry veggies. This is a red bell pepper. I used about a quarter to a fifth of the red bell pepper. I'm just doing a nice chop on it here, getting it nice and diced up. I love red bell pepper. It's very sweet, it's crisp, it has a great flavor, especially when it's cooked down. Here we've got an onion, about half of a small onion. I'm just going to dice it, do a normal dice on it. Always watch your digits when you're doing this, because onion when it gets wet, especially on a chopping board, it will slide, and they're notorious for causing a lot of finger cuts. But here you see we're getting it diced down. This is going to go in with the bell pepper and some other veggies right into the stir fry. It gives a great flavor and texture. This is not necessary. This is a jalapeno, raw jalapeno. I'm going to cook right about to 2/3 of it's a pretty large jalapeno, so I don't want to use the whole thing, but you don't have to do this just if you like spice. I like spicy, and I like the flavor of a jalapeno that's been stir fried. I'm doing a rough cut here on just a rough chop on the broccoli. Because I really like broccoli. I didn't realize I just stole a carrot. Did you all see that carrot disappear? Anyway, these are baby carrots, and they're also going to go in. Now, these are my baby carrots. I like to boil them for quite a while, about 20 minutes before I do them to soften them up. The broccoli I'll put in with them, but the broccoli I'm going to take out within 2 minutes. You don't want to overcook your broccoli or it gets really soggy, and I really don't like the flavor of it. But the carrots I'll cook for quite a while. Now, any good chef, always you want to sample your product. Peas and corn are two staples. I buy the little 88-cent bags of peas and corn. I'll buy 4 or 5 bags and stuff them in a gallon Ziploc, and they're really great to add to any meal. Here's my staple. This is brown rice, okay? So that's just brown rice, 1 cup of brown rice. I'm going to put 2.5 teaspoons of these flavor granules. They're like bouillon. They add a great flavor to it. When they mix in the water absorbs into the rice. It's very savory. This is really the secret ingredient of the rice. It's frozen lemongrass. You can buy it at any Asian market. It's incredibly good, incredibly crisp flavor. Chinese 5 spice is another spice I use a lot. It's a mix of, it's got cinnamon, it's got star anise, it's got cloves. It's really good. It adds a delicious kind of a crisp flavor. Some other staples, I'm putting garlic powder in here and onion powder, and they just really accentuate the flavor. I'm going to do a little shake up there, get it all through. And now we're ready to cook the rice. Cold water, always cold water first. That just gives plenty of time. Here's a trick, pro tip for you with doing rice. Put a little white wine vinegar in there. It gives a really nice savory flavor. A little stir up there just to mix the wine, the white wine vinegar and the water. Now, when the rice is cooking, you want to make sure you continue to stir it, because if you let it sit in the pot and it gets hot and the water evaporates, it's going to burn. You'll get hard rice. You see, there's the perfect consistency of the rice. Now it's time to remove it. We're going to let it continue to cook, but it's going to cook in its own steam. This is cilantro, and this is the final piece that we're going to put in the rice. I'm going to do a rough chop on the cilantro, get it nice and cooked. I love cilantro. If you've ever tasted it or smelled it, you know it's wonderful. It's crisp, it's cooling, and it really it is a wonderful addition to almost anything. Cilantro you want to put in close to the end, though, because overcooked cilantro will get bitter. So what I'm going to do here, the cooking is over. We're not on any heat here. We're just using the steam that's already in the pot. Stir it in there, and then when I put the lid back on the pot, I'm going to leave it sit. That steam is going to break down the cilantro and get the flavor into the rice. It really works out well. So this is a 15-ounce chicken breast. It's a very large chicken breast, but a very good. I like it because I also want to have leftovers. So I won't actually eat this entire chicken breast, but it will go into the mix. So I'm just going to cube it up here. Again, cutting chicken, be very careful, because it does tend to slide, especially when you move to this cross cut right here, when the other pieces are already cut. So just be very careful if you're cutting chicken. It does tend to slide, just like onions. You see me, I trim away a lot of the fat. I don't leave a lot of the fat of the chicken on it, and that's just an old habit. I don't really mind eating the fat because it can still be good for you, but I like to cut it away. So now I've got all my prep done, you see. So I'm going to get the wok. I love cooking in a wok. It's my favorite way to cook because it generates an intense high heat. Get the oil coated. You want that oil coated, and in goes the chicken. Now you'll see here the chicken starts cooking really, really quickly. The wok generates, as I say, a tremendous amount of heat, so you have to move very, very fast when you're cooking a wok or your food will burn. But here you see the chicken is cooking nicely. We're going to just let that, before I add any other ingredients, I'm going to let the chicken cook. I'll put, now is my time for my cracked pepper and a little bit of salt, not too much salt because there's plenty of sodium in this meal from the granules that have gone in the rice. I'll also be adding soy sauce later, so there's a lot of sodium, so I don't want to go too heavy on the soup. So now's the time to move. And there go my broccoli and my carrots. Then my cold veggies go in. I keep them separate because, again, the broccoli and the carrots are still hot from when we steamed them. Because, again, this whole meal is a space of 20 minutes. So there's no time for anything cooling down. And I don't want the onions or anything else to start cooking prematurely. But now it's all in here. This is pretty much the buildup of the stir fry. There's the only seasoning I'm really going to put into the stir fry itself. A little soy sauce. I do 3 little circles of it. Now the final piece of the meal, eggs. I mean, this is pretty straightforward. I'm just going to crack 3 eggs into my little Pyrex here, and then I'm going to beat them up, or basically just whisk the eggs up until they are the right consistency for me. Now, you don't want to overbeat the eggs, but you also don't want to have them too watery. You want to have them a nice little, a nice consistency, thick, and basically to where you know the yolk and the whites have been beaten together. And you'll see it here. That's the consistency right there. You see the way it drips off the fork, but it's kind of thick. Now this is a crucial part. The pan is at a medium heat right now. You see the butter, a nice big chunk of butter. Okay, it's about 1 ounce of butter in the pan, and mix it around. Make sure all surface area of the pan is coated, because when we put the eggs in, we want the eggs really to be resting on the butter, not the pan, because if they hit that metal of the pan, the eggs will start burning. You do not want that. You see the way it just kind of, it congealed there and mixed with the butter? The butter is the buffer. It protects the eggs from burning, and there's where you know you've done it right, that you see when I'm mixing it, you see the metal of the pan. There's no, the eggs are not sticking to the pan. They're not burning at all. So we're going to do this for a second, and then the trick to getting perfect consistency for scrambled eggs is that you want to take it off the heat after a couple of minutes and let it continue, or a couple of seconds really, let it continue to cook. And you see I'm still working it, still stirring it. Eggs have to be worked constantly or they will burn and get overcooked. Now it's back on the heat. I'll do that 2 or 3 times sometimes. This is only 3 eggs, and it's a very, very large surface area of the pan, so I only needed to take it off the heat once, stir it, back on the heat, and then it's done. Plating. Eggs first. I want to get the eggs out of that hot pan. I want them to stop cooking. And then I'm going to put my rice on. There's that beautifully done rice. You see the cilantro in it. The main course. Look at this. All that beautiful color in the stir fry. And just put it on the plate and you're ready to eat. It's so good. So I hope you've enjoyed watching me cook. I've enjoyed cooking it. Bon appetit. Well, there you go. Very, very easy, very simple, very quick meal to put together. Nutritious. I've got the brown rice, I've got the eggs, and the chicken. I used half the chicken, so I'm about 7 to 8 ounces of chicken. So we're looking at a total calorie count for the meal, about 800. That might seem like a lot, but remember, I'm intermittent fasting, so I'm only eating once a day. So it's really, really good. I want to taste it really quickly because I'm going to add, one thing I add a little sriracha to it, but I'm going to try it before the sriracha. Eggs are to perfection. That taking it off and putting it on, taking it off the heat, putting it back on, has a lot to do with getting a great consistency on the eggs, making sure they cook evenly and they don't overcook. Very, very important. Now the rice I'm really excited about. Oh yeah. It's brown rice. The seasonings I put on, very simple, very crisp. The lemongrass comes through and the cilantro just pops. at the end, ties it all together. And then the stir fry is very, very simple. The only real flavoring on the stir fry was the soy sauce. And it comes through. It's lovely. Broccoli cooked to perfection, if I do say so myself. So that's really it. You know, as I say, I'm not a professional at this, but I do cook a lot for myself. Almost 90% of the meals I cook are for myself. I'm watching calories right now because I'm trying to lose some weight. I gained weight over the quarantine closure. So I figure if there's any small benefit that my experience can have for you or for anyone out there who may be struggling with trying to figure out how on earth, where do I start with a diet program? How do I start cooking for myself? It's so difficult, it's so daunting. It's not. It just seems that way. You can do it. I showed you right here. This whole meal took real-time cooking, took about 20 minutes. Okay, 20 minutes. You can do it. It's easy. The ingredients are very inexpensive. Most expensive thing we bought here was the chicken, and you know that's basically it. But you can get chicken relatively cheaply if you're economic about your shopping. So I hope you enjoyed it. I'm about to enjoy it. So last thing last, I'm gonna put a little sriracha on my chicken. Really, really good if you like spicy. If you don't like spicy, you don't have to do it. You also don't have to put the jalapenos in. It's not a requirement. I just enjoy the taste of stir-fried jalapenos. But anyway, I'm gonna dig in. I hope you enjoyed the video. Thank you for watching. If you did enjoy it, please give it a thumbs up. I have a very, very small channel, and I'm trying to build it right now, so that I can get the word out and more people can hopefully benefit from the content I put out. Either way, and if you haven't subscribed, please subscribe as well. Because I'll be putting out videos with regularity. So on a variety of topics, basically documenting my own life, which is not really interesting, but there might be some small benefit. And remember, Tony Robbins, my absolute favorite author and mentor, says it's way better to spend 1 year learning from someone else's mistakes than spend 10 years learning from your own. So with that, I bid you adieu, and God bless you, and I hope you are phenomenal.